Good evening, Mr. Hickey's class. I'm Ruby Lurlich here, and tonight we're going to be talking about the smash hit Hamilton, an American musical that has taken Broadway by storm. Tonight we will have three critics voicing their own opinions on this musical. Without further ado, welcome our first critic, Brianna Anderson.
Hello, Ruby. It's great to be here. I'm here to talk to you tonight about why I personally believe that Hamilton is the greatest musical to exist. First, let me say that its uses of juxtaposition and soliloquy are beautiful to see in a musical. And not only that, but its lyrics are absolutely beautiful. It also has many themes and motifs that make it very complex and interesting. Death is a motif throughout the production as it affects all of our characters. For instance, Eliza goes through major character development after the death of her son, Philip. It's the kind of musical that you'd have to watch several times in order to truly understand. For instance, I bet you had no idea that Death is actually a present character in the production and is credited as the bullet.
You're right, I didn't know that.
I thought so. Some of the more present themes are history and legacy, running out of time, and writing. We can see this because throughout the entire show, all Hamilton can focus on is legacy, writing his story, and when he's going to die, running out of time. He states several times that he writes his way out of bad situations, and he won't throw away his shot to make something of himself.
You really do have quite a bit of interesting facts.
Thank you. Another interesting fact is that the actual creator of Hamilton was on vacation in Mexico when the idea came to him. He was reading the book by Ron Chernow when he became inspired. One thing led to another, and here we are. The actual Hamilton was actually a pretty interesting guy too, though. Did you know that he was a self-taught lawyer and he was also a poet on the side?
I didn't know that.
I know, it really is very interesting. Another thing is, contrary to popular belief created by the musical, he actually had 8 children, not 2. Another interesting fact you may not have known is that Hamilton and Angelica were never actually romantically involved with each other.
Wow. Okay, well I think that's all the time we have for our first guest. It was a pleasure to speak to you.
Thank you, it was a pleasure to speak to you.
Now please welcome our next guest, Andrew Cooper.
Hello, thanks for having me on, Ruby. Today I'm gonna tell you why this hit musical Hamilton is so great.
Alright.
So first off, Hamilton is filled with historical accuracy. The only thing that really stays true throughout the whole entire musical is the names of characters.
Is it so?
Yes. Also in the musical, it shows how Hamilton introduced Lafayette and Mulligan to Washington. In reality, Lafayette and Mulligan already knew Washington before Hamilton because Lafayette sent French aid to the U.S. during the Revolution, and he was a general. Mulligan saved Washington's life. He saved him from several assassination attempts. In fact, Hamilton and Lafayette never knew each other.
Well, why does this matter?
This matters because it's poisoning the minds of people who watch the musical and don't really know anything about the Revolutionary War from the Founding Fathers. They tend to believe what they're seeing is true because it's a story about these things. And in interviews, Lin-Manuel Miranda said he felt an enormous responsibility to be as historically accurate as possible.
Really?
Yes, it bothers me when he straight up lies to everyone's face in the musical during the song on Winter's Ball. He says Martha Washington named her feral tomcat after him. Although she did name her cat Hamilton, it wasn't because Alexander named it. She named it after her husband's longtime aide during the Revolutionary War.
Well, thanks for talking to me, Mr. Cooper.
No problem.
That's all the time we have today. Everyone welcome Miss Cat.
Thanks for having me. What would you like to know about the musical Hamilton?
Our past 2 critics were both very opinionated on the musical. Could you bring more of a neutral approach to this?
Well, when watching the musical Hamilton, you can't expect an accurate story to history because it is a musical. And so, in the musical Hamilton, it shows it's not accurate to Alexander Hamilton. History-wise, or as a person, I think most people when watching Hamilton forget that the show is based off of real people, and they can't take anything from the show and believe it's accurate without doing background research first.
Yes, I can agree. Does this musical show any historical accuracy at all?
It does show historical accuracy, like in One Last Time, George Washington's farewell address is in the lyrics of that song. And in Who Lives Who Dies, it tells the story of Eliza Benton opening an orphanage, which he did do after Alexander Hamilton passed away.
History aside, what do you think of the musical?
I like the musical, and I would recommend anyone watching it because Lin-Manuel Miranda takes it more past the lyrics, like he takes it into instrumentals, outfits, lighting change, etc., and he looks at the bigger picture of it.
Well, thank you, Ms. Kemp. It was wonderful talking to you. And thank you, Mr. Hickey's class, for tuning in today. Have a great day.
Okay.
As you